Welcome to ThinkTech on OC16, Hawaii's weekly newscast on things that matter to tech and to Hawaii. I'm Duke Oishi.
And I'm Laurel Wingard.
In our show tonight, we'll play the third of three movies that HPU has produced for ThinkTech. This one deals with media in Hawaii.
As the others, this movie was produced by Dr. Pete Britos' media class. They were a great bunch, and as you'll see, they're pretty good at making movies.
From the concept to getting the guests to hosting and conducting the interviews and the camera, lighting, sound, and editing work, this movie was made by those students. Here it is. Take a look and see if you like it.
Aloha! Welcome to Hawaii Pacific News. I'm Elisa Soon. Today's program is all about technology and multimedia. Our first story comes from Hawaii Pacific News reporter Justin Ornelas, who sits down with HPU professors Natalie Lewis and Dr. Peter Britos to learn more about the exciting new multimedia programs offered at Hawaii Pacific University.
Aloha! I'm Justin Ornelas with Hawaii Pacific News, and today we're talking with the Assistant Director Natalie Lewis.
The new program is one that is subsuming the old programs. Basically, we had different tracks that gave students a touch of the different disciplines such as video production, web design, graphic design, and the like. We then looked over the program and basically decided different tracks, these two different tracks that will allow students to get a more in-depth experience at HPU with these programs. A lot of my courses I will lead them through a portfolio process in the sense of when you're in the foundational courses, you're producing a portfolio, but we understand that, it may not be the pinnacle of your work just yet because you're still learning, right? But then when you've passed through maybe by the third level or the capstone experience, the seminar courses, you should be pretty well set in your knowledge of the technical skills, the writing skills, the producing skills. So the portfolios always serve wonderfully for potential employers who are looking to our students to either intern or take them on as full-time employees after graduation. And it's great because nowadays a lot of people will ask for, either a URL to let me see your work. What have you done? So before I hire you, I'd like to get an idea of what you've done, what you can do, and how we can actually use your skills for our company.
The new major is called Multimedia Cinematic Production. Cinematic is a much larger conceptual term that includes film, video, animation, lots of other kinds of narrative production. So it's much more conceptual. Furthermore, say within that particular program, within the cinematic program, it used to be that within individual classes, the focus was on group projects. So say we had two courses, we have the students involved, and in that kind of a course, conceively, students are doing, one or two projects. That's great if you're aggressive, if you're proactive, if you're not shy and you're saying I want to be the camera operator or I want to be the director or I want to be the producer, but what happens to students that aren't so forceful, that aren't so aggressive? So what we did is we devised a system that requires every student that comes into these classes to do above the line work. In other words, they have to do their own writing, they have to do their own producing, they have to do their own directing, they have to do their own nonlinear editing. And what that means is that by the time the students are doing capstone projects that are group focused, they've all held a camera. They've all had to produce, they've all had to write. So they know what all of their collaborators are doing. It makes for a much more engaged kind of collaboration with everybody firing on full cylinders. The intellectual property regime that we put in place is a regime in which there's a contract that's signed by the student and the university, and it explicitly states that the individual projects that the students are working on, the stuff that they generate themselves, is their intellectual property. They own the copyright. The university, because we're using professors, equipment, resources, the university has the right to utilize those projects for pedagogic purposes, promotion, advertisement, but the student owns that. And what that means is that from the very beginning, the students have to embrace that they are intellectual property producers. In essence, they are entrepreneurs. This is their stuff. They better take an interest in it. It's nothing that they're just going to fluff off and throw at the university. This is their portfolio, this is their work, and in the afterlife of that work, after that course, they have the opportunity to act as a producer and submit that stuff on their own accord to competitions like the Hawaii International Film Festival or other kinds of exhibitions or what have you. Well, I think it really it benefits HPU in part because it benefits the students. From the get-go, there is a pedagogic aspect to putting on the table that you own this stuff, everything that you produce in this class, you're going to take with you, and you're the copyright holder, you want to post it to YouTube or what have you, that's your kuleana. So there's an educational, a pedagogic component to that. But I think that for the university, it really engages the students. It makes them, property owners. It makes them invest in all of the projects that they're doing. And that energy, I think, translates to the campus as a whole.
Thanks, Justin. It's exciting to learn about the new multimedia programs at HPU and how it's preparing students for the real world. It's also great to know that the university is constantly adapting to the demands and changing multimedia technologies. Next, Hawaii Pacific News reporter Serena Carnegie shows how other Hawaii schools are using technology to enhance their curriculum.
Technology is moving at a faster rate than ever before, and there is no exception in our schools. Students aren't exactly learning on chalkboards anymore, that's for sure.
Aloha everyone, my name is Serena Carnegie with Hawaii Pacific News, and I'm here at Sacred Hearts Academy, a prime example of a school in Hawaii where technology is heavily integrated into the curriculum.
Like a long time away, we all used to copy information, we took typing classes and that was the extent of technology and that's it. And then I think with the integration of the internet and people adopting all those things, it no longer became just copying. Now students nowadays are creating that information. They are now they're creating their own websites, they're becoming the leaders in technology.
Sacred Hearts Academy uses a lot of technology in our high school, especially with our one-on-one laptop learning. So each one of us from 7th through 12th grade gets our own personal laptop. And besides the laptop usage, we also have robotics classes from Robotics 1 all the way to Advanced Robotics 4. We've got engineering classes, computer classes, video classes, and lots of clubs that emphasize the use of technology as well.
It's really cool. Could you tell us a little bit more about the robotics?
Definitely. So our robotics program spans from girls as young as 4th grade all the way to girls in 12th grade. And the emphasis is getting girls engaged in technology. So they learn basic programming skills, they learn how to build and construct a robot, build a website, and they also compete in the first robotics competition as well. Yeah.
Really cool. I'm with G1 and she's a 6th grader at Sacred Hearts Academy. So G1, tell me what kind of technology you use in the library.
We use technology for research on school projects. For example, 6th grade had ancient Egypt and ancient Greece projects. So we came to the library a lot to look up facts, work on our PowerPoint, our presentations, and things like that.
Very cool. And what do you like about this kind of technology?
I like the interactive websites, social websites, where you can be with your friends. For example, Storybird. You get to comment, read other stories, read what other people think about your story.
Sounds like fun. Now tell me about the Digital Media Club.
Digital Media Club is a club for 4th, 5th, and 6th graders that helps them learn how to edit and produce their movies.
Very cool. And what kind of technology do you use?
We use flip cameras, MacBooks, GarageBand, and iMovie.
And what do you like about this technology?
I like this technology because it helps you edit your movies, show them online, and you can create your own music.
How do you use technology in the classroom?
2 ways we use technology in the classroom are our teacher's smart board where she does everything and the computers in the back.
Awesome. And how do you think this technology helps you learn?
This technology helps us learn because we can do projects and essays and reports all on the computer.
Students are definitely doing a great deal on the computer these days. Just like Sacred Hearts Academy, Mid-Pacific Institute also uses advanced technology on a daily basis.
In what we're doing with technology, we've moved from worrying about teaching technology to really thinking about how technology supports learning. One of our missions for the school is to prepare students for the future, to get them ready for a global economy a kind of world where they have to be creative problem solvers. And so the technology that we use supports classroom instruction in powerful ways, not because we're teaching technology, but the real role of technology is it's a tool to support learning.
That's right. Nowadays, technology isn't taught for the sake of technology anymore. Rather, it's used as a method to further promote and enhance the learning environment. At Mid-Pacific Institute, students are learning to create eco-friendly houses on the computer, raise animals and plants using aquaponics, interact with a smart board to promote the lessons they've learned, build their own websites in the 3rd grade, create their own movies in the green screen room to enhance their skills in Japanese, and even use iPod touches in class to allow students to learn at their own pace.
I think what used to happen for teachers in the old days was they thought of learning as a set of chapters in a book, or a domain of learning like physics, and it was about having the kids learn specific content, and that was it. What both technology and a larger conversation about learning has brought about is teachers now look at an activity and they ask, what's the hook for this? How can I get students engaged? How does this fit into the real world? What ways can we look at it so that we can make it more powerful?
Draw, you can make sketches, you can use math to change how things look. We also had to do like t-shirt designs and stuff like this. Stuff like this, just little funny t-shirt designs. We did a bunch of sound editing stuff. And that right now we're doing 3D actually, so
So they've turned what used to be a very expert content textbook way of thinking of learning to much more personalized and real world, and that's changed the way students become excited about the learning that's happening.
As you can see, technology is making a huge impact on the students of Hawaii. The old chalkboards may be gone, but our schools are definitely thriving. I'm Serena Carnegie with Hawaii Pacific News.
Thanks for that fun and educational story, Serena. There are so many great ways schools are using technology to enhance their curriculum. For our final story, I wanted to learn more about being safe while using the internet. With so much being done online nowadays, how can we prevent cybercrimes from taking place? To learn more about cybercrimes and cybercriminals, I sat down with Hawaiian Telecom security expert Anthony Giandomenico.
The definition of cybercrime is basically any criminal act that is performed by a computer or over the internet is actually deemed as cybercrime. Now, just like you and I, we're always trying to make our jobs a lot more efficient, a lot more productive. How can we do more in less time? It's the same thing for the criminals, and that's why they came up with something called crimeware. And with crimeware, they're automated tools that allow the individual to go in and try to exploit a vulnerability on a computer in a very automated fashion. So they're able to steal a lot of personally identifiable information a lot quicker, a lot more efficient, and a lot more effectively. Yeah, I think a lot of the antivirus software also has built-in, different, what we refer to as content filtering. So you can set certain thresholds on, based on how old your child is. There's certain content that would be deemed acceptable for them to see or not to see. So if you enable a lot of those particular features, it's really going to help sort of block some of those other sites that they really shouldn't see. And the other side is, I think, education. If you're educating your children on, what's safe internet browsing, some of the bad things that are actually out there, I think that's a real good start as well. I think an easy one may actually be, you get an email. Everyone's used to getting email from someone, maybe they didn't know. But nowadays, you're also getting email from, it looks like it's from somebody that, it's a friend of yours. What happens sometimes is maybe your friend has gotten compromised and they're sending email out on, their behalf. And in there actually may be a link, and you decide to click that link. From there, it goes to a website that actually contains the piece of malware, and then in the background, without you actually even knowing about it, it gets downloaded on the machine, and now it's actually remote controlling the machine. Once it's actually on the machine, it downloads the rest of the software, and it can actually remote control your machine, and it can potentially actually use your machine in some other criminal act over the internet. I would be very careful with social media sites. The primary goal of a cyber criminal is really to figure out how can they get their exploit and their software onto your machine. And one of the really easy ways and effective ways is to do that now is through social media, right? Because social media connects everybody, and the more people that are actually connected, the easier it is for that piece of malware to get on a person's machine. It's very difficult. A lot of those different games on the social media sites, you just really need to be careful. So if you're getting something that is you think it's from somebody you should probably make sure that it is from that particular person. It's usually your computer or your laptop. However, all your mobile devices are also susceptible. You're seeing more and more pieces of malware that are geared towards your mobile devices because it's becoming more and more popular. Well, a lot of times it really depends on where they get where they get caught, because different countries have different cyber laws. Some are more mature than others. In the U.S., a lot of times you're going to have jail time. Depending on the severity, it really depends on that the amount of years that you're actually be in jail. Well, there's a lot of things out there right now on the black market. If you look at, there's a lot of credit cards, personally identifiable information, which could be your banking credentials, a social security number. All those items are money on the black market today. So that's really what they're looking for. And when you look at it, what's the motivating factor? If the motivating factor equals money, it's amazing what can be innovated, how motivated people can be when you have a driver, when money is the actual driver. Well, there's a lot of different sites out there. I mean, you can just kind of Google in protect, or you can search for securing my computer. There's lots of different websites that can really help you out there. A lot of the antivirus companies like Symantec or McAfee, a lot of those sites have great examples of how to actually protect your computer. So there's a lot of things that a consumer can do to actually prevent themselves from actually being victim to crimeware. One thing, obviously, I think a lot of people know what antivirus software is. So if you have the latest antivirus software on your machine and it's kept up to date, that's the first thing. Number two, you got to be careful on what you're clicking. We have all these social media sites, which is a great way for malware and for crimeware to get on your machines through social media. So just be careful before you click something. Make sure it is something that was sent to you by somebody who and it looks like it's something that's actually legitimate. The other thing, if you're going to do online banking and you're going to do a lot of those transactions, find a machine that you don't use to actually browse the internet. Maybe it's a virtual machine that you have, or maybe it's a separate machine. That's all you use is that for your banking stuff, and then you use for your internet browsing and for your social media, you have a separate computer for that. Well, if we knew who they were, we would probably be able to catch them. They're really people that are just they're basic criminals that are really looking to steal information. They're trying to find ways to, easy way to make a buck. A lot of this stuff is really organized also, and they're really coming out of China, they're coming out of Russia, so there's a lot of those things that are outside of the US, and so it makes it very difficult to actually track these people down.
A special thanks to Anthony Giandomenico for sitting down and educating us about cybercrime. Hopefully you were able to pick up a few tips on how to stay safe while online. That's it for this program of Hawaii Pacific News. I'm Elisa Soon. Thanks for watching. Aloha.
So what did you think? Do you agree with the treatment they came up with, the choice of interviews, the statements of the hosts and interviewees, and did you like the production values? Let us know on thinktechhawaii.com.
Thanks to all the students who planned and executed the production of this movie. Their names are in the credits. And thanks to Dr. Pete Britos for making this happen. We look forward to movies from his next media class. That class is just now beginning, so stay tuned for more from HPU.
Now for our ThinkTech calendar of events going forward.
The first thing is ThinkTech Radio, our 4 to 5 p.m. weekday drive time radio series starting on KGU 760 AM tomorrow, October 3rd, covering business, Asia, tech, energy, the arts, and government. Tune in and stay tuned to 760 AM every afternoon at 4 p.m. and raise your awareness on ThinkTech Radio.
On Thursday, October 20th, ThinkTech will celebrate its annual guest and speaker reunion, calling all of its video and radio guests and speakers together in a rendezvous with all of our thinkers and friends. We are so looking forward. Please join us at the Plaza Club on October 20th. Everyone is invited.
On Thursday, October 27th, we'll present a 2-panel luncheon program entitled Hawaii Update on Agriculture, featuring Russell Kokubun, State Director of Agriculture, and others, examining whether and to what extent agriculture is working in Hawaii and what we can do to get it to critical mass.
And now, here is Bill Spencer, President of the Hawaii Venture Capital Association, with this week's Spensation.
Thanks for coming down, Bill. What's your Spensation this week?
I thought it'd be good to sort of wrap up the impact investing concept that we brought to members and friends at our meeting. Anywhere from $300 to $500 billion is directed to projects that have social benefits, or double bottom line, as we like to say.
What is a socially responsible investment?
Well, impact investing is where people who are interested in doing social good by investing in companies that are focused on solving major problems as opposed to simply creating the next best web application or doing something that might be deemed destructive, like making weapons or using child labor or things like that. Investors can speak with their checkbook and make a difference. And so impact investing has become, in the last few years, a very major way to make change and also solve global problems that we're seriously facing.
Doing well by doing good.
Absolutely. And as we say, having a double bottom line. There's no reason that an organization can't be profitable in solving big problems. And so there's the benefit of the profit that goes back to the investor and the feel-good aspect.
Well, I think the program went very well at the Plaza Club a few days ago, and we videotaped that program, and we'll show that program on ThinkTech on OC16 next week. How do you like that?
That's terrific.
Thank you, Bill.
My pleasure.
Looking forward. Great program.
And here's our co-working entrepreneurs, Riechung Fujihira and Tony Stanford, to keep us current on their latest adventures at the Box Jelly.
Well, Startup Weekend happened for one.
Yes.
That was an amazing experience. You want to?
It was through the whole weekend. I think cumulatively between the both of us, maybe 10 hours of sleep. Whole thing.
Yeah, I thought it was a beautiful thing to like take off all the hats and throw on just one hat and focus on one project. And I'm pretty proud of what our team put together. I think we did a pretty good job, and I'm looking forward to participating in the next one.
Well, Startup Weekend is an event that's over the weekend from Friday to Sunday. In 54 hours, you pitch an idea, you form a team, and you start a business.
Our project was a project called Just Kudos, justkudos.com, and what we do is we aggregate information, and we created a positive reinforcing rating system for different dishes in restaurants. And the idea is just to have the best dish from each restaurant and then get a discount on that dish.
You're looking at a menu, you're sitting there for 10 minutes, can't make a decision, but you want to know what the best is. You would pull up this app, and you look at it, and you see 100 ratings, 100 likes, and this is the best dish.
Yeah.
So
it's freedom from choice. Yeah. We'll be launching that. We're going to be pitching to Dave McClure this coming Friday at the Food and Wine Festival. And we're working on taking the next steps to launch this business.
The goal of this is really to form a team, have an idea, make a business, and pitch, and then afterwards continue it. And I think we met that. We got honorary mention, but it's not about winning. It's about having the business afterwards.
Yeah, we had a couple of the judges come up and tell us, like, the competition itself isn't the important part, but it's like going through the process and creating a viable business model, and that's the thing that we did. JustKudos.com. You can take a look. You can see that we're still working on it, but if you just want to play around with it and give us some feedback, we'd appreciate it.
We'll be right back to wrap up this week's edition of ThinkTech. But first, we want to thank our underwriters.
Thanks to the Schuyler Family Foundation, which supports a number of educational, cultural, and charitable organizations, including ThinkTech.
Hawaiian Electric Company and its affiliates Miko on Maui and Helco on the Big Island are deeply committed to the communities they serve.
Galen Ho is a senior executive of BAE Systems, a global defense, security, and aerospace company, and CEO of CBI Polymers, a tech company in Hawaii.
Oceanit, another local tech company, is one of Hawaii's largest and most diversified science and engineering companies.
Okay, Lori, that wraps up this week's edition of ThinkTech. Remember, you can watch ThinkTech on OC16 several times every week. Can't get enough of it, just like Lori does. For additional times, check out oc16.tv.
You bet, Duke. For lots more ThinkTech videos and for underwriting and sponsorship opportunities on ThinkTech on OC16, visit thinktechhawaii.com. Be a sponsor. Help us reach Hawaii.
I'm Duke Oishi. Thanks for joining us on ThinkTech.
I'm Lori Wingard. Aloha, everyone.